Main players in the industry. As the next successful watch entrepreneur, you need to know the key players in your field. Three companies that dominate the watch market share are Swatch Group, Rolex, Richemont. These companies own and produce some of the world's most famous watch brands. During the next several slides, we'll examine the portfolio of these groups and compare the various niches that each brand targets. Let's cover each one of them in more detail. Swatch Group. Before I move on with a lot of these slides, I want to apologize in advance, maybe for mispronouncing some of the brand names, but I'll do my best. Swatch Group includes the list of watch brands that you're probably well aware of, but didn't know that they're all under a single umbrella. The company divides its portfolio of brands into four subcategories. Basic, the most famous in this category, is the Swatch brand, and you can find this watch almost in any airport or a mall. The middle, Tissot, is the brand associated with this category, although there is some fancy version of it also available. The high subcategory includes such brands as Longines and Radot, to name a few. The top, prestige and luxury, is at your top shelf, but the most recognizable of them all is Omega. Their most prestigious brand is, of course, Breguet, a company founded in 1775 by Abraham Louis Breguet. It is important to note that the company, along with Blancpain and Vacheron Constantin, is among the oldest surviving watchmaking establishments and the pioneer of numerous watchmaking technologies, such as the tourbillon, invented by the Abraham Louis Breguet. It also produced the first wristwatch in the 1810. The Swatch Group was formed in 1983 through a merger of two Swiss watch manufacturers. Formerly SMH Swiss Corporation for Microelectronics and Watchmaking Industries, the company took its present name in 1998. The Swatch Group is led by Nicholas Hague Jr., son of the late co-founder and chairman Nicholas Hague. Next, we'll cover the Rolex. Rolex. Rolex SA and its subsidiary Tudor design, manufacture, distribute, and service wristwatches sold under the Rolex and Tudor brands. Founded by Alfred Davis and Hans Wilsdorf in London, England, 1905. You're probably familiar with Rolex as one of the most recognizable brands in the world, but a lot of people don't know that they're recognized for many innovations. Let me cover a few of those. They invented the first waterproof wristwatch, Oyster, in 1926. The first wristwatch with automatically changing date on a dial, Rolex Datejust. The first wristwatch case waterproof to 100 meters, Rolex Oyster Perpetual Submariner. The first wristwatch to show two time zones at once, Rolex GMT Master. The first wristwatch with automatically changing date and date on the dial, Rolex Day-Date. The first watchmaker to earn chronometer certification for a wristwatch in 1910. Essentially, Rolex is the largest single luxury watch brand, producing about 2,000 watches per day, with estimated 2012 revenues of $7.7 billion. Next, we'll talk about Richemont Group. Richemont Group is another dominant player with a portfolio of brands, which includes one of my favorites, Panerai. Founded in 1988 by Johann Rupert, Richemont organizes its business activities into four operating divisions: jewelry masons, specialist watchmakers, Maison Montblanc, and other businesses. Cartier and Van Cleef Arpels constitute the jewelry masons. The specialist watchmaker group is composed of Langenson, Bon Mercier, IWC, Jaeger-LeCoultre, Officine Panerai, Piaget, and a few, and the joint venture with the Ralph Lauren Watch Company. Montblanc is the sole member of the Maison Montblanc. The other business divisions include Alfred Dunhill, Lancel, the Net-a-Porter Group, Peter Miller, and the Shanghai Tang. As of November 2012, Richemont is the sixth largest corporation by market capitalization in the Swiss Market Index. As of 2014, Richemont is the second largest luxury goods company world maker in the world, after LVMH. Next, let's talk about the market segmentation and how each company is represented based on the segment. Market segmentation. Here we can see the Swiss market segmentation by brand, where the brands are categorized by affordable and expensive factors, as well as the sports and refined styles. This is pretty obvious, and I'm sure you would have guessed it right away, but Rolex dominates the sports expensive segment, with Omega breathing down his neck. Cartier is towards the bottom where it dominates the refined, expensive area. Patek Philippe, towards the right, is an obvious leader in the expensive segment, with Breguet right next to it. Speaking of Breguet, which we briefly talked about on the previous slide, let me point a few things just as some fun facts. It was founded by Abraham Louis Breguet in Paris in 1775, and it is currently part of the Swatch Group. In fact, Abraham Louis Breguet was the inventor of tourbillon and also produced the first wristwatch in 1810. So there you have it, some history lessons in the watch industry. Watch market shares by brand. Based on this chart, Rolex, Swatch Group, and Richemont dominate the market, with Swatch Group in a slight lead. LVMH includes such watch brands as Hublot, Tag Heuer, Zenith, and Bulgari, to name a few. As part of the other category, such brands as Audemars Piguet, which owns approximately 40% stake in Jaeger-LeCoultre. So hopefully at this point you have a general understanding on the watch industry at large, as well as who the main players are, and the brands that they produce. Let's summarize this section. So in this section, we've covered the following topics: the history of watchmaking, the top 3 primary watch companies and the industry leaders, the Swatch Group, Rolex, and the Richemont. Lastly, the industry numbers. Over 1 billion watches sold annually, and approximately 80% of the market share belongs to the automatic timepieces. Our next section is all about the watch manufacturers.